Well, good morning. This is me, Ma. Sometimes it looks like our guide had left us on the journey and all by ourselves, and we didn't know what we were to do. But anyway, after Christmas, we had a wonderful Christmas after the woman had given us the $1,000, and so we had a great Christmas, paid our bills, and in January I started selling jewelry. Well, they said they were going to be, most shows were $300 and I would make 50%. So, man, that was pretty good. If we could supplement our income $150 a week, well, that would help a lot. Well, they forgot to tell me that everything that, I had to buy everything. I had to buy the sales slips. I had to buy the catalogs. I had to buy the jewelry. I could buy it back at 50%, but still I had to buy it, and I had to give prizes, and I had to pay for all the prizes that we gave away, and it cost me money to go and come and wear and tear on the car, and it took me 2 hours at the show and probably at least 30 minutes going and coming, so it was 3 hours. And all those shows that were supposed to sell for around $300, I don't think I ever made a $150 show most of the time. But at least I had fun, and my hostesses, they got a lot of beautiful jewelry because they had a great hostess plan. So, but Fred was looking for a job, and he got a job delivering cars for one of the new car dealers in Statesboro. And the first job that he got was they needed 2 people to go to McLean, Texas, and pick up an automobile. So it was going to take 2 of us to drive there, and then 2 of us to bring the car back. So, the guy that asked us to do that said we could make a vacation out of it. So anyway, Fred was real excited. Now, McLean, Texas is just at the Mexican border. So I think it was, let me see how many miles we had to go. It was 1,500 miles one way. And I don't remember, but spending one night on the road, surely we must have spent 2, because that's a long way. But I'm going to tell you, I was so doggone tired, I don't remember if we did. We did not have a vacation. And when I was coming through Dallas at 5 o'clock that afternoon, it certainly wasn't any fun. But anyway, so much for my vacation. At least we made some money. So then shortly after this, Fred gets a call from another used car dealer. And he wants Fred, he said, if you'd like to, you can make $100. We'll send you down to Savannah and unload a U-Haul that's got broken down and put it in another U-Haul, and we'll give you $100. Fred said, yeah, we'll do it. I'll do it. And so when he got off the phone and told me, I said, Fred, what are you talking about? I said, you're not able to do that. I said, you're 72 years old. And I said, you haven't done any manual labor. And I said, who you going to get to help you? He said, well, I'll pick up a couple of guys on the street corner. Well, I knew that wasn't going to happen. So I said, well, I'll go with you. So we got down there, and when I saw what we had to unload, and of course we did not find anybody on the street corner to help, I called my daughter, and she let my 2 grandsons come over and help us. And I think they might have been 11 and 9 or 11 and 10 or somewhere along those. Anyway, we did it. Pretty much. Fred helped a little bit, but for the most part, me and the boys did it. And then we had a china cabinet we had to move. And I thought, oh my gosh, how are we going to move this china cabinet? But my God is so good. The guy that was there, seeing us what we were doing, he knew we needed help. And so he come and helped me and the boys move the china cabinet into the other one. Well, we got through, and it was probably around 2 o'clock. And the guy that had hired us to do this called Fred, and Fred called him and told him we were through. He says, well, how about y'all come in, and we need to pick up some cars in Jacksonville. And if you can be here by 3 o'clock, said, you can come down there and drive back. Oh, yeah, Fred said, we can do it. And I said, Fred, I'll go, but I'm not going to drive no big truck. Now, if it's a little truck, I will do that. But I'm not going to. And besides that, I forgot to tell you, I put on shorts. Well, I haven't worn shorts much as an adult in my life, but it was so hot. It was July. I mean, it was one of the hottest days in July, and I said, well, I'm going to wear my shorts. Nobody's going to see me. Well, by the time we had to jump in the car and go to Statesboro and meet these guys to go to Jacksonville. So here I am on my way to Jacksonville at 3 o'clock, sitting, Fred's in the front with the driver, and I'm in the back of a compact car with 2 strangers in my shorts. So I said, well, okay, Lord. So we go to Jacksonville and we stop at the state line. And by this time, it's not too bad. I mean, it's only like 7 o'clock. And I thought, well, this isn't going to be too bad because we'll probably take us less than an hour to go, an hour to pick up the vans, and an hour to come back. So we'll be home shortly about midnight. So anyway, we take off and we go to Jacksonville. Now, we were not in charge. I don't think we even had a map because I'm a very good map reader. But the guy that was in charge, we got lost. And just to make a long story short, at 11 o'clock that night, we had not found one of the trucks that we were supposed to bring back. And we had drove around and around and around, asking people where to go. And we couldn't find a place. But we did come to find out that I believe it was a Florida 1 and an Interstate 1 were right there together, and the instructions were to go to Highway 1 and look for the thing. So about this time I said, well, I don't know about y'all. I said, I think we need to pray. So I prayed and they listened. Lord, help us find this truck. Now y'all, I'm going to tell you, they did not give God praise for this, but I did. It was midnight and there was a guy in an office building. Now, how did he happen to be in his office building with the lights on where we could see him right next to where we were supposed to go? So we asked him the address. He says, well, if you go right down to the end of this, where my fence is, there's a dirt road that turns to the right, and it's back there. So we did what he said. There was no sign on the dirt road for a street. We go back there, there is the truck, but there's not even a light on in that place. I'm going to tell you, we would have been there till the next morning looking for that thing if God had not answered my prayer. So praise God. And so then my little truck that I went to get when they gave me the keys, it was so big that Fred had to help me get in the daggone thing. It was that tall. I said, oh my gosh. And then I used my side mirrors and my rear view mirror to see where I'm going. Well, you couldn't see out of the rear window because there was the van back there. So I had to drive with these huge side mirrors, was all I had to look at. And we got home at 6 o'clock the next morning. And I'm telling you, I was worn to a frazzle. But, hey, we made it. So, anyway, right after then, let me see what happened next. Let me think just a minute, y'all. Bear with me. Oh, I know. After that, we became full-fledged drivers for the different car dealers there in Statesboro. They would call us up, and we started off being in caravans. We'd all go in 1 or 2 cars, and then we'd bring all these trucks back. Well, the people that led those caravans were not good drivers. Fred and I both are good drivers, and so we decided that we made arrangements so that we could bring our cars back together. Then that way, we didn't get lost, we didn't get turned around, we weren't having to deal with 7 or 8 cars behind us, which is dangerous in my book. So that, when we started doing that, that wasn't so bad. And then, when we could get a drive for just me and Fred, that was really great because we could get in the car and we could go where we wanted to go, and they reimbursed us for lunch. So we got to visit all the little towns in South Georgia and Middle Georgia that I'd have never even been to. And we had a lot of picnics on the road, and so that was fun. And in addition to all this, we're still trying to make some money. So I become a mystery shopper. Well, you know, this advertisement is for mystery shoppers. You know, you're going to go to all these restaurants and they're going to pay you to go in there and have the checklist, you know. And I could just envision us going to all these fancy nightclubs and dine-in restaurants, you know, elegance and everything. So this is going to be good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this because we're not getting to go out except on our little on our little trips driving cars. So anyway, I couldn't wait till we got our first assignment. Well, our first assignment and most of the rest of the assignments that we got were for service stations up 25 or 30 miles away. And they gave us, I think it was $2.50 to spend at each service station. Well, you know, when you have lemons, make lemonade is always my motto. So we would go to one service station and buy Fred a sandwich, and then we'd go to another service station and buy me a sandwich or maybe a bag of chips, whatever. And then we'd get 2 drinks at the other. We still had our picnics and we had a good time. And I do think that the most elegant place that we went mystery shopping was Sonic and Hardee's. So anyway, so much for the mystery shopping. But hey, we had fun and we did make a little bit of money. You know, it wasn't a lot of money, but whatever. So between the jewelry business, and the driving the cars, and the mystery shopping, and church and family, and Fred working in his workshop, and me painting whenever I got a chance, I'd forget about we didn't have a lot of money coming in. So we weren't at least wallowing in self-pity, and our needs were being met, even though you might not have thought, well, that's not a very good way to have your needs met. Hey, whatever it took. So anyway, then every now and then I come up with this idea that I had that farm acreage that I didn't get to build my subdivision on, and I could sell it. Well, it was zoned as Ag 5, and you have to sell 5 acres at the time. And so while we were going on these different places, I'd write an ad, and I'd say, Fred, what do you think about selling the farmland? Well, he thought that was a good idea. So I'd make up an ad, and I would bring it home. I would forget that I had even wrote it because I was being so busy, and I wouldn't put it in there. I mean, I forgot it. There was times I even lost it, and I finally got the distinct impression that God did not want me to sell the farmland. So I said, well, so much for that. But how about a year after the tire store went bankrupt, when the guy bought it from us, I went out to the mailbox again. And while I was in the mailbox, there was a letter from one of Fred's first cousins. And I thought, well, that's interesting. I mean, I never even met her, 3 or 4 times. I'd have heard about her. And so Fred was in the workshop, and I carried it out there to him, and I said, here's a letter from your cousin. Would you like for me to open it? And he said, yeah. So I opened it up, and she wrote a letter, but inside the letter there was a check for $1,000. I could not believe that God had sent us another $1,000. And in that letter, she invited us to come to see her. So I wrote her back, and we thanked her for her generosity, and she wanted us to come. And she was in her 80s, and she says, and they were millionaires, you know. And so she said that they would put us up in a motel, and she would like for us to come and make a vacation out of it. So we went down, and I don't remember now if it was a weekend or a week, but we went and we got to visit with her. Fred got to see all the old farmland that his granddaddy used to have, and he got to go to the grave sites of all his grandparents and even his great-grandparents. And it opened the door so that we could go back to the O'Berry reunions and get to see some of the people that were down there. So it was a great blessing for him. And I don't know why that our cousin sent the money. I don't know what her motive was in sending it. Fred had some ideas about why she might have sent it. But all I know is that God put it on her heart for this to happen for us. So I just want to tell you that God will supply all of your needs according to His riches and glory. It may not be like you want it to be, but He said He would provide, and He did. And He said He'd never leave us or forsake us. And He certainly never left us and never forsook us during all that time. And if you would have asked me, I was enjoying life. I didn't have any money, but that was okay. Our needs were being met, and we were having fun. What more can you ask? And I was at peace. So thank you for listening. If you'd like a copy of my book, Answers to Questions You Always Wanted to Know About Christianity, you can order it from Amazon.com.
westbowpress.com, or me, bwoberry1 at gmail.com.